Welcome to the Best Me podcast. Your best tomorrow starts today. I'm your host, Ellen Livingston. I believe showing up each and every day as the best version of myself doesn't happen on accident. It takes awareness and planning. On this podcast, I talk about planning for ways to improve my health, develop a sense of purpose in everyday life, and create meaningful connections so I can be the best me I can be. And so can you. Let's get started. Hey there, besties. It's me, Ellen. Thanks so much for listening today. I would like to talk about letting go of things that no longer serve you. Now, I know this can kind of sound a little bit like woo-woo terminology because you may have heard of the ritual of writing down anything you want to let go of on a piece of paper and then burning that piece of paper and watching the smoke be carried away by the wind. And it's supposed to symbolize like letting go of your old life and leaving space for something new. And I don't mean to knock that because symbolism and rituals like that can be very powerful. But what I'm going to talk about is more about why we need to let some things go and ways to do it. And to begin with, we all, at some point, will be faced with needing to distance ourselves from either people, things, places, or maybe behaviors in our own lives. And we know that it's time when those things begin to take away your energy and drain you mentally or emotionally, or maybe they just make you start doubting yourself, or you're just getting nothing in return. And the first thing that I think about when I think of needing to let things go, I think of material things. I mean, have you ever looked into your closet and thought, why do I have all this stuff? I mean, it's draining. Clutter and unnecessary items bring a depressing energy into your living space. And one of the easiest ways to feel better about yourself is to declutter your living space. Keep only the things you need and use and truly enjoy, or otherwise, it's just taking up space and bringing chaos into your life. Let it go. Maybe something you need to let go would be like your career or your job, because when you work somewhere where you don't feel appreciated and supported, and you really aren't encouraged to take on more responsibility and, of course, be compensated for it, it can become a dead-end job that brings you down and you dread each day. That's time to let it go. Or maybe it's time to let go of a relationship. You might have someone in your life that you've known a while, but you realize when you're around them, they don't really support you. And I don't mean they don't ever give you feedback. You need honest feedback from your friends. That's what they're supposed to do. But I mean, they never encourage you to be your best, and they don't ever encourage you to try new things. And you know what I'm talking about. This is a friend who drains you mentally every time you're around them, and they really don't add anything to the friendship. It's time to let them go. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is a little more personal because it's about you. Maybe you have limiting beliefs that you need to let go. And I've talked about this before. It's the stories that we tell ourselves. You know, I'm not smart enough to learn, so I'll never have a better job. Or I'm not a morning person, so I can't join that 6 a.m. exercise class. Let it go. You're holding yourself back. Or maybe you have old habits that no longer serve you, which can be things like eating unhealthily or drinking too much alcohol or just staying up too late, not getting enough sleep to feel good the next day. Don't be your own worst enemy. Let it go. And I know this is easier said than done. We stick with things that aren't good for us, like one-sided relationships, demeaning jobs, bad habits, because they are familiar and they're comfortable and they worked for us in the past. And it seems scarier to move on into the new and the unknown. And when you realize that there are things in your life that no longer serve you, be honest with yourself. Ask why. Why is this no longer good for me? And you know what? You will get your answers. Now, friends, your time and energy is so much better spent somewhere else. When you let go of these things, you actually create space for something wonderful to move in, things that support you and make you grow into your best self. So embrace these things that add value and happiness to your life, and let the things that drain you and keep you small go. That's all I have for today, besties. Be kind, be positive, and be your best. And remember, small progress is still progress. Thanks for listening to the Best Me podcast. If you would like to make a comment, suggest a podcast topic, or just say hi, send me an email at bestmepodcast@gmail.com. I hope you'll join me next week as I continue to talk about how to be the best me I can be. This episode was edited by Adam Boatwright. If you need any help with music, audio and video editing, or digital arts, be sure and check him out at adamboatwright.com. That's ADAMBOATRIGHT.com.